fights with passion, and he inspires.
Are you ready for a war?
All right, welcome back to From 8 Arbitration, the year-end edition. It's like, let's see what time it is. It's like 4 o'clock here in Nashville. I have just woke up. Man. I am wore out. And so, Christmas, y'all know me. I love Christmas, man. I love every single part of Christmas. I love it. I love the busyness of it. I like going to the malls, as crazy as that sounds. I love Christmas music. I love everything about it. And we had Christmas with my kids last night. Christmas Day, went to my parents. All of us go there. We had a good time there. Then my kids will go to their mothers. And so then my wife and I went to her parents Christmas night. And so I told my kids, I was like, hey, look, y'all are going to be too rushed. Let's just do Christmas at my house Saturday. And so that's what we did. We did Christmas last night. And I have just woke up. I mean, I am wore out, man. I guarantee you, I've gained 10 pounds. I've gained 10 pounds in December. Are y'all like that? It's damn near every house. And I love my customers. My customers love me. I've been out there with them for 25, going on 26 years. And so you'll go up to a house and here comes little buddy. Hey, Mr. Corey. Hey, my man, what do you got? I've got you this can. Oh, what is that? Oh, homemade brownies. Okay, thank you. I'll eat them. I eat them on the route. Another, hey, sweetheart, what you got here, Mr. Corey? What is that, baby? What you got? Oh, some homemade chocolate chip cookies. Okay. And, hey, Corey, my wife made you this fudge pie. Thank you. And my ass eats all of it. I eat everything. I guarantee I've gained 10 pounds. My hips hurt. My knees hurt. My feet hurt. So, man. But I have just crawled out of bed. I was like, fuck, I gotta go do an episode. It's my year-end episode. We're going to cover a lot of good stuff today. And so we're going to cover some numbers from last year. Mallory sent these numbers to me. I put them up on my Facebook, but not all of you are on my Facebook. So I'll share those because they're pretty damn cool. It shows how special y'all are to me. And so, got a lot of stuff to talk about. What's coming up next year? What did we do last year? So kind of a year-end review. Does that sound good? Good, because that's what we're going to do. I've got a shout-out, and this was sent to me earlier this week. And it says, please give a shout-out to Lance Schwebe for destroying management in the city of Louisville. And tell him it's from Dalton Ewing. And so absolutely. And if y'all know Lance, he is a true hellraiser. That cat from Louisville, man. They got a good group in Louisville. In spite of their business agent. They've got a great group, man. And but now the business agent wants to come around. I tell you what we need to do as far as these business agents. We need to put them on 1-year terms, right? Just vote them in for 1 year. Because that's the most you're going to see them. It'll be at the last of their tenure. You got a 4-year term. You won't see these motherfuckers for 3 years. You won't see hiding their hair of these motherfuckers for 3 years. That last year, election time, they're everywhere. Hey, man, we're scheduling arbitration. We're doing training. We're going to send people in. We're helping out. We've been here. We're helping. Where in the fuck have y'all been for the last 3 years? But now we have an election coming up. Y'all know y'all going to get ousted. Y'all going to get beat. Here they come. Here they come. Who are you? I'm your business agent. I'm here to help. But that's what's going on. So maybe we should do just 1-year terms. That way we could see these motherfuckers all the time. Because I've not seen anybody. But now here we got a year to come. I want all these presidents. I'm going to put y'all's people in arbitration training. All these things. I'm going to start proving y'all Formula A training. I'm going to start doing all this shit. Well, fuck, baby. I could have used y'all the last 3 years when shit was hitting the fan. When we were under fucking attack. I could have used y'all. But no, here you motherfuckers come. Starting to get 2026, starting to sweat a little bit, aren't you? Huh? A little tight under the collar, knowing y'all's ass is fixing to get ousted, and here y'all come. So maybe we should do constitutionally, we should say, hey, y'all just going to run for 1 year. That way we can see y'all more. Y'all do more, because you got some sorry-ass motherfuckers, man. But, yeah, Lance Sweeby, he's a bad motherfucker, man, in Louisville. That dude piles it on and enjoys it, loves it. That's what I want. When I surround myself with people, that's what I want. I want a motherfucker who loves it. So absolutely, Lance Sweeby for destroying management in Louisville. There's your shout out, my brother. It's from Dalton Ewing. Okay, so let's get into some year-end numbers. Again, Mallory sent these to me, and they're pretty damn impressive. They're pretty damn impressive because, like I said, and this is the honest to God's truth on my life, if it was just one person listening to this, I would do it every week. That's just how I am. I don't take any money for it. I've been asked by numerous people who constantly email, wanting to publicize, wanting to get on here, and me promote them to advertise. And I say no, because I told y'all at the beginning I would not profit off of educating my people. I'm just not going to do it. And so I gave you my word. That's important to me. But these numbers are for Spotify only. Now, Spotify, if you want to gauge kind of where we're at, it's a little bit less than half. I have PodServe is what I use to put up my episodes, okay? It does not include Spotify, all right? It does Apple, which is probably my biggest. And then you have a bunch of smaller ones that are in there. It doesn't have all of them, but you can pretty much gauge when you put all those together, those numbers are just a little bit more than Spotify, okay? And so you can kind of gauge where we're at as far as from 8 arbitration. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank everybody who's ever been on here to help educate, because that's what's the most important thing. It's the most important thing. It's funny. On social media, I see people that cannot stand me. They hate my guts, man. I mean, despise my ass. And they'll say, Corey's just in it for himself. You'll see that on social media. James Henry's just in it for himself. Corey's just in it for himself. And my ass has been doing this every Sunday, paying out of my pocket to do it, refusing to take any advertisement, right? To educate. Corey's doing it for himself. So, anyway, here's the numbers. And they're pretty damn impressive, man. Just considering I went out and bought an $80 microphone, attached it to my laptop, and started a podcast to educate my people. And so here's the numbers from Spotify. And we'll talk just a little bit about some of them. 299,000 total plays. Again, this is just Spotify, okay? This does not include Apple or anything else. Just for Spotify. 299,000 total plays. You've got total new audience has risen 38%. And that's, I'm pleasantly surprised at that. You know, I'm pleased with that, because I was on a podcast the other day, and it's Joshua Shroom. If y'all know his podcast, he does a great job, great educator, but he had me on there and I was asking questions. And the question came in about me plateauing. You know, if you plateaued, you know, back when you're educating, then you got off on this other stuff. And, you know, as your audience kind of died down, are you losing? And there's no question that I've lost listeners. No question. That's a sacrifice I'm willing to take, okay? I love educating. I'd rather do that than anything else. But my union has failed me and has failed my people. I'm a city letter carrier. That's what I do. I was doing it yesterday. I'll do it tomorrow. That's who I am. I'm a city letter carrier, okay? And so my union's failed me. So I went off on my union and continue to do so until we make change next year. I will continue to go off on my union because they're not doing what a union's supposed to do. And so, yes, there's no question I've lost listeners. No question. like I said, that's a sacrifice I'm going to make because my union has failed us. So to see that in 2025, this is the year in review, right? This is 2025 numbers. The other things don't do a year in review like this. Apple and those things, they don't send stuff out like this. And the only reason I got this is because Mallory sent it to me. So to see that the audience has increased by 38% in 2025 is encouraging. And it will continue to do so because everywhere we go, people are talking about, hey, we're telling people about you. We're telling people to listen, which I cannot thank you enough. Again, I don't make a dime off of it. It's just about educating. And you've got a lot of great podcasts out there. A lot of great podcasts out there that are educating. A bunch, And so it's got 32% new followers in 2025. 32% new followers. And that's encouraging. It didn't decrease, which is encouraging. So 32% more listeners last year than the year before. And that's great, right? Because you had the establishment come after me pretty heavy. You had a retired resident officer come out of retirement to do a podcast. It was Jurassic Measures. And a very intelligent individual. I put him up against anybody. Thing is, he came after me. Why? I don't know. But he came after me, and he doesn't do an episode. He doesn't do a podcast anymore. He's not done one since July, which is tragic because he's very gifted. Very gifted. He has a lot to offer. And, since July, he's not done an episode, but he came out of retirement, the sole reason to come after me. And if you listen to it, you understand I'm not just saying that. That's what it was. He had help from the business agent's office. Unfortunately, they were giving him bad information, and it made him look kind of foolish. And I know this guy, he hates that. I know he hated that and was probably pissed at him. Hey, whatever. It is what it is, man. Y'all want to come after me, that's fine. I'm a city letter carrier doing a podcast. I can't lose shit. You can't take nothing from me, right? And so I wish he would start doing podcast again because he is intelligent. Just quit listening to fools. And but I guess he went back to watching from afar, and that's sad. That's sad. But with them coming after me like they did, they made an entire Facebook page with some dear friends of mine that were the administrators of that page, and basically it was dedicated to going after me. And so, which I don't get because I'm a nice guy, and but with that being said, I gained 32%. That's what From 8 Arbitration gained last year of new followers, 32%, which is great. Now listen to these numbers. These numbers are crazy, and I have to question these numbers, but that's what they sent us. But these numbers are nuts, man. That's what Mallory was saying, that these numbers are insane. Listening time, 8.3 million minutes of listening time. 8.3 million minutes of listening time for From 8 Arbitration. 139,000 hours of listening. 139,000 hours of listening. 5.7 thousand days of listening. Those are nuts, right? Hell. But 5.7 thousand days of listening. 828 weeks of listening. 828 weeks of listening. 190 months of listening. And listen to this one. Last year, 15 years of listening time. 15 years of listening time. And so that's insane. And we got some more. It reached 38 countries. I don't know why, but it did. But 38 countries reached overall. You're a top show for almost 6,000 fans. Now, this is Spotify. You're a top show for 6,000 fans. You're a top 5 show for 5,000 fans. You're the number 1 show for 2,500 fans. Your top fan streamed 2.4 times more than everyone else. Your top fan streamed 2.4 times more than anyone else. 50% of them binged 2 episodes in one day. 50% hit play within 24 hours of a new episode drop. And these are pretty cool. It's a 2025 marathon show. Fans listen to you for longer than 99% of other shows. And that just shows how crazy y'all are. Is that fans listen to you for longer than 99% of other shows. A 2025 talked about show. You received more comments than 99% of other shows. And finally, a 2025 most shared show. You received more shares than 99% of other shows. And that's awesome. And I cannot thank y'all enough. I can't, because look, when I started this, I didn't know, like anybody that starts a podcast, I have a page on Facebook, people starting podcasts, and I just kind of watch what goes on there. I don't comment. But, they'll say, how are y'all gaining listeners? I've done a year, I've only got 20 or whatever. And I see how blessed I am because of y'all. And I cannot thank you enough. I owe every bit of it to y'all. And that's what I always say, man. I love the city letter carrier. I love you. And I'm going to do everything within my power to take care of you. This is just a small part. This is a small part of what I can give to you. Things that have been taught to me, that I've learned, I'm just giving back. And I think that that's what everybody should do, There will be more that come after me. I'm going to talk about one in just a second. An individual that started a podcast that came after the CLC and me, and I'll address that once and one time only. But yeah, it's encouraging, very encouraging, humbling. Like JB always says, humbling. I'm humbled that y'all would take time out of y'all's day to listen to From 8 Arbitration, right? And so I love you. I want to touch on one thing I told you I was going to talk about is the 2 RAAs that got terminated by Renfro. And I told y'all that I would talk about it. And you had some people taking swipes at CLC on Facebook and stuff, trying to go back and pull up people's old Facebook posts and talk about it. What's the difference? Blah, blah, blah. Look, here's the thing about what happened. Is Renfro terminated 2 RAAs. Can he do that? Absolutely. He can do it whenever he wants to. Those are at-will employees, right? At-will employees means he can terminate them without cause. That's constitutional. He doesn't have to have a reason. He can just terminate your ass whenever. Like I said, he could have terminated them on Christmas Day. He could have called them right in the middle of them unwrapping presents and say, hey, y'all having a good day? Yeah, just unwrapping presents. All right, you're fired. He could have done that, Would it have been kind of Bush League? Yeah, it would have been. And they're like, what's the difference? Last time they had an election and he fired 2, one from Region 9, one from Region 1. And, everybody was okay with it. A lot of people weren't. But here's my thing about it. Here's my thing about what he did to the 2 RAAs that announced they were going to run for business agent. Both of them announced that they were going to run for business agent and run on the CLC slate. Okay? Both of them. And they were terminated not long after. And here's the difference. Again, he doesn't have to have a reason. That wasn't my thing. My thing was the cowardly way in which he did it. And it's just another in a long line of cowardly type shit that he's done. One, he did over voicemail, which to me is the ultimate in cowardly shit. You fire somebody over voicemail. That's bitch right there to the 100%. I mean, you fire somebody, you're a cowardly motherfucker if you fire somebody over voicemail. We have an HR department. Ken Raker should have been doing that himself. That's why we pay him that money. He should have been doing it, but he wanted to be involved. Renfro wanted to be involved with this. He wanted to do this, right? He took it out of HR's hands. He's like, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it in the most cowardly way possible. I'm going to fire one over voicemail. And then I'm going to set another one up with the business agent. This was Region 2. When he gets the business agent to call the RAA and say, hey, Debbie, this is business agent. Yeah, hey, what's up? Hang on just a second. And then merge Renfro in, and he fires her right there in front of the business agent. Can he do that? Yeah. Is it cowardly shit on both of those people's part, the business agent and Renfro? 100%. That's cowardly bitch-ass stuff. The issue I have is that there's only two people running for president. Renfro's not one of them. He's not announced anything. He's not announced any run. Matter of fact, he may not run. He probably has other things that he's going to do. And is probably setting that up right now. That's my opinion. He may not run. So you only have two people running for president. And neither one of them from the region. Right? You got James Henry. He's from Region 1. And then you have others. But you have two running for president. Neither one of the MBAs from that region have announced they're running. Neither one of them. Matter of fact, both of them are going back and forth. Should I retire? Should I run? Should I retire? Should I run? So the RAAs say, hey, look, I'm going to run. Well, oh, that's fine. You can run. You're fired. So what was the termination for? Again, you don't have to have a reason. You know, he could just woke up one day and say, hey, I'm going to just pick two out of the hat, and whoever two I pick out, I'm going to fire them. Just because. Just to show my authority. Just to let them know who's still in charge. Or just to quell any kind of movement amongst RAAs that think that they're going to run for MBA over the MBAs that I have chosen. I'm going to fire two. And that way, any other RAA will think twice about it. Or anybody else running for president or thinking about running for president will think twice about it in case they have a spouse that's got a position or something like that. And then I will crush any type of movement against me to the best that I can. I can't do anything against the two that are running. Now, I've stripped one of all of his responsibilities, but I can't fire him because he's elected. And the other one's elected, right? So, to me, it was just cowardly ass shit from a cowardly ass president. And you got a business agent that was kind of bitch ass as well and how he handled it. To me, you can't fire a business agent. If he would have called me and said, hey, look, I need you to call Debbie. We're going to fire her on the phone. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. If you want to fire her, come over here and fire her. Or have Raker do it, who's over HR. I'm not participating in that because what she's done is been exemplary in my region, has protected and defended and educated the city letter care since she's been here. She's been outstanding as an RAA. I'm not doing that just because she announced she's running for president, running for business agent, because I don't know if I'm running for business agent. I've not decided. I've not announced. I may retire. Hell, I don't know. So she's well within her rights to do that. He didn't do that. He said, I'll gladly call her. Let you fire right here with me on the phone. To me, that's cowardly shit. And so my whole position about it all was just a fucking coward. Just a fucking coward. That to me is the epitome of a cowardly motherfucker that would fire somebody over voicemail, somebody that's had an incredible run as an RAA, defending, protecting, educating it's his members, you know, and that's what you give him because he says he's running for MBA. Again, you've not announced what you're doing. The MBAs had announced what they're doing. These are people that have said, hey, I think I have something to offer, so I will run. Well, you're fired, okay? And that's the thanks for what you've done. Again, it's not about whether he can or not. He can fire them. He can fire them on their fucking deathbed if that's what he wants to do. That's not the gripe. It's the cowardly bitch-ass way in which he did it. That's what I'm saying. As a leader of men, as the president of a union, you've got an HR department. You say, hey, Ken, hang on. I'll handle this myself. Let me see if I can get this voicemail. To me, it was on purpose. It was on purpose, right? And so that's my opinion about it. Okay? So to all those people that think the CLC, whatever, blah, 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 fuck off. Fuck you. Okay? You came after two of mine, and so I'm going to give you some. Because a family is a family is a family, right? That's how I was raised. You part of the family. You're going to get some if you come after part of the family. Some people may not give a fuck. It tells me who you are. It shows me who you are. When you say, well, he could do it, blah, blah, fuck you. You came after two of my family members, I'm going to give you some. Okay? And so he's a cowardly motherfucker. Anybody who participated in it was a cowardly motherfucker as well. Okay? And so you can get you some. Period. Because those people are a part of my family now. Right? So there you have it on the two RAAs. I was a little more docile than I thought I'd be. But it is what it is. It speaks to itself, you know. It speaks to itself. There's a famous saying. I have a Union shirt, and it's Union Thug. It's an old shirt. I got it years ago. It's tight now. But I used to play softball, and the sleeves are cut out, you know. And so, but it's a Union Thug shirt, and the back of it, it says, I'd rather die on my feet than starve on my knees, is what it says. And it came after a saying from long ago. And then this saying was kind of adopted by an Emiliano Zapata, and he's a Mexican revolutionary. And his saying was, the saying is, it is better to die on your feet than live on your knees. And the meaning is, the phrase emphasizes that living with integrity and independence on your feet is more valuable than mere survival achieved through subservience on your knees. And that's where we're at as a union, right? The phrase emphasizes that living with integrity and independence on your feet is more valuable than mere survival achieved through subservience. And that's where our union is at. That's the crossroads where we are when we talked about the soup line long ago on the TA. And your president has chosen that we will survive on our knees in subservience to the Postal Service. A lot of shit's coming out right now about how broke they are. $9 billion in the hole. You're going to see a lot of this stuff, man. The Postal Service, $9 billion. We're probably looking at Amazon. They're probably going to privatize it. All this shit. A wave of these things is going to come out, and you're going to see your union trumpet that. They're going to kind of put that on blast, right? Because we're coming into negotiations, and the Postal Service is broke, and it's the same old song and dance. Every time they come around, they're broke. And it reminds me of this movie. I love Mel Gibson. In the movie Payback, if y'all can remember what if you've seen the movie. It's an older movie, but he was a driver for a lady of the night, right? He was a driver for her, and they liked each other. Now, he was married, and this guy that was with this outfit, the mobsters, he double crosses him, right? And he tells him, hey, look, I know this Chinese place, they launder money, and they always send us money. It's in this briefcase. It's all this money, $500,000 or something like that. And he says, we can get it. And so they plan on how to get it. They end up running into this car. Y'all remember that? Mel Gibson puts the mouthpiece in his mouth. They run into this car. They go and take the money. And they get into this parking garage. And the guy double crosses him, shoots him. And his wife is there with him. His wife double crosses him with this guy. And he says, there's a big hubbub when he opens the briefcase, and he's like, what? It's just $140,000. I need more than that. It's just $140,000. And so Mel Gibson kind of, he sees what's going on, right? He knows that something's not right. So he's kind of real leery, telling his wife, get in the car. She shoots him in the back. And all that was in there was $140,000. And so the guy goes up to Mel Gibson, who's laying there on the ground, shot in the back. And he leans down, he tells Mel Gibson, he says, you know what? It's always $140,000. Because that's what he needed to get back into the outfit. Remember, that guy needed $140,000 to get back in right, get back in good with the outfit. And so he knew it was only $140,000. He was telling him it was going to be all this money, and he reaches down, he says, it's always $140,000. And so Mel Gibson, he survives, and he goes back. He wants to get his half, $70,000. I always think of that movie. I don't know why. I love the movie. I've seen it 1,000 times. I always think of that movie when it comes time for negotiations. We're broke. You know what? They're always broke. You know what? They're always broke. It's always 140,000. It never changes. They're always broke. You got to come around with some kind of idea other than we're always broke. If that's the argument, if that's the case, we'll always be broke. The carriers will always be broke. We'll always be subservient to management's position that we're broke. There's got to be something else other than we're always broke. Hey, look, we're always broke. It's always going to be broke. That's always going to be the argument. And we'll always live on our knees. We'll always be subservient to management, to the service. When you have a clown in position like Renfro, who always goes for, we're always broke. You got business agents coming after me. That dumbass motherfucker down in Tennessee, he doesn't understand the post office is broke. I don't concern myself with that. Now you've got reports of all these billions upon billions being wasted because they don't even know how many properties they own. All of that, when you talk about forensic audit, all of that would come out with a forensic audit. What you're doing, this is federal government. You trust me, there's fucking waste. You've got to find it. The one thing we cannot do is be subservient every fucking contract to the idea that, you know what? We're always broke. We're always broke, right? It's always broke. That's it. That's what it is. We'll always be broke. I saw the latest edition of the Postal Record, and this is what Renfro wrote it's on page 1. It's at the bottom right. When NALC negotiates a contract, it's not two people sitting across a table making demands. It's months and years of preparation and countless proposals passed back and forth. The more member ideas and feedback we have access to going into this round of negotiations, the stronger we'll be. The 2025 National Rap Session was a big part of the process. I welcome and encourage every member's suggestions as we continue to work together to achieve the best possible outcome for letter carriers at the bargaining table in 2026. Now, first off, I don't believe nothing this motherfucker says. Like I said originally, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You're not going to fool me again. I don't trust you. Nothing you say. I don't trust shit you do. Nothing you say. You prove over and over again that you're not leadership material. And so when he says, when NALC negotiates a contract, it's not two people sitting across a table making demands. It's odd. It's odd because every fucking picture I saw with this motherfucker sitting across from Tolino, he was by him fucking self. He was by himself. Even in the Weir report, they talk about what? He went it alone. He did not involve the executive council at any part. Did he do that? The executive council will tell you that. At no time did he involve them. He wanted to do it by himself. He needed to do it by himself so he could show everybody I'm capable, I can do it, and he got played like nobody's business. And then when the membership did speak, like he says we should right here, when we did speak, what'd he tell you? Fuck off. Go fuck yourself. That's what he said. When the membership did speak, when he did come to us, when they sent out the vote for the TA, that's us speaking. That's us talking to you. That's us telling you what we feel, our position. That's what that is. When you take a vote, that's us telling you. We're talking to you. And what we say, overwhelmingly, fuck the TA. And what'd you do? Shoved it up our ass anyway. So that's why I say anything this motherfucker writes, I don't believe shit he says. Nothing. It's not just two people. Well, motherfucker, you made sure that we saw plenty of pictures of just you two smiling with each other in front of Nolan. I saw that. The Weir report clearly talked about you going it alone. I remember that. So I don't believe nothing this motherfucker says, but I will not, as a city letter carrier, and then as the EVP, I will not live on my knees. Period. And people always say, again on social media, How's the CLC going to get a raise? How's the CLC going to do anything? How's the CLC going to get us anything? It's called collective bargaining. It's called arbitration. Management will always be broke. Hey, they're always broke. They're always broke. If you take that as the position, do you know what? City letter carriers, we'll always be broke. We'll always live below a living wage. Always. Because the Postal Service, they're always broke. They're always broke. And so you have these people, how are y'all going to do anything different? You actually use the process, collective bargaining, actually use what's in front of you, national arbitration, actually use that, right? Interest arbitration, that's what you will do. You'll go there and put your case on. You may win, you may not. But it will not be, like James Henry always said, for lack of trying. People want promises. They won't promise anything other than to fight. Any advocate worth his weight will never make a promise other than, I'm going to do everything humanly possible to win. Whatever I can do to win, I'm going to do it. I'm going to fight my ass off for you in arbitration. That's the only promise that should ever be made. If anybody is saying that they promise you this, promise you that, promise you this, you're in no better shape than you were with Renfro. He made all those promises and didn't come through with a one. We will never say, I promise you're going to get more money. Well, I'm not going to say that. That's ignorance. I promise you that the uniform allowance is going to be a lot more. I promise you're going to do away with table 2. I promise you this, that. I'm not doing that just to win a fucking vote. It's not worth it to me. James Henry's not going to do that just to win a fucking vote. I can come out and say, I'm going to make sure, and I know how, that I'm going to get y'all $50 an hour. I'm going to do that. I promise. I could do that. I would be no different than this motherfucker we got in office right now, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I am an advocate, still, for the city letter carrier. I'm not an arbitration advocate, but I'm an advocate for the city letter carrier. You do not make promises other than you're going to fight your fucking ass off for them. So anybody's like, they don't make promises. I'm not making a promise. I'm not going to do it. How are you going to get anything other? I'm going to go to arbitration. Go to interest arbitration, exactly what we're going to do. As a city letter carrier, which is what I am, I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. That's arbitration. I'd rather die on my feet going to arbitration, fighting for the city letter carrier, than live on my knees, which is what the president you got now is doing. He's living on his fucking knees. We are subservient to the service because they're always broke. They're always broke. So, what to expect next year, right? We've gone over some numbers, talked about the TA, talked about this cowardly president, about being subservient to the service, which is what he is. What are we going to expect next year? From 8 arbitration, I've got to get back into education. I'm going to do more discipline. That's probably the number one thing people want. And we'll do hot topics. I love doing that. Things that are sent, things that are on social media, things that are sent to me. Even if I've got to repeat them all year long. Deems desirable. Again, it was a management page, I guess. I didn't know it. And so maybe it's just all crafts, but management's involved. Talking about deems, and I was like, that's a grievance. And these managers, I do it 12, 15 times every holiday. What's the grievance? Why don't you just come to work? I knew that's when you was talking about management. And so I just told them that it's a grievance. It's a fucking grievance. And so we're going to keep educating on the hot topics on From 8 Arbitration. Like I said, I'm not going anywhere. Even when we win next year, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to keep doing this because this is my passion, is educating my people, period. So next year, we will continue with the salted peanuts type thing. You'll have other podcasts as well that do a fantastic job. You've got the Lion's Den with Paul Bolanger. Was going to get more aggressive on that. And so you'll see a lot more episodes of the Lion's Den. He's a great educator. CCA Corner is another one that, of course, my people, Mallory and Cole and Badmouth, are doing that. I think they're incorporating more people into that to reach out to the CCAs, who we've got to do a better job fighting for them as well. And so you'll see a lot more of that with From 8 Arbitration. You're going to see a lot more education. Like I said, kind of do the same shit, have a guest here and there. The CLC will get more prominent. A lot more of them will be on podcast, introducing themselves. You're down the home stretch. You got to August for the nominations, and then elections are after that. But you're going to see a lot more of that. I'm going to be begging for money, which I hate doing. But donating, I'll get into that. As much as I hate it, like I always say, it never fails. When I was young, I'd bring a friend to church, and the preacher would always talk about tithing. You're like, damn, I always want money. But that's what we'll do. We'll get into that, how to donate, because it's going to take a lot of money. You're going to see other tickets come out. I'm sure of it. Other slates, they have to. Listen to me when I say this. The establishment is desperate to get a ticket that can beat James Henry. They don't know what to do. You saw these rumors coming around of this slate that's coming out. This amazing slate that's going to change the course of history. And a lot of rumors. And so you'll see more of that as they try to put their toes in the water, to see, can it get any traction? Because I do know that Rolando's running for a trustee. He is desperately trying to get a slate together because they cannot lose. They cannot lose the establishment, the good old boys, the status quo. They are desperate to get a slate, okay? And so you had rumors coming out a week or two ago about this slate that's coming out. And, man, it's going to change the course of history, like I said. And it's the status quo. And we will get it back into the Weir Report when if a new slate comes out. Because if you ever want to see who the status quo is, the good old boys, go to the Weir Report. And you'll see a lot about it, right? We'll go to the Weir Report. We got other things that we'll do because we'll address it, right? We'll address it because I'm done with the status quo. I'm done with it. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. The establishment, the good old boys trying to it's recycling the same old shit is all it is. And so I've got the Weir Report right here. We'll get into that. We'll refresh ourselves on that. Some names in there that we'll need to know. If and when a new slate comes out, I don't know. I know they're trying to test the waters as far as name recognition. Do we get any traction on it? So they'll have to do something. Do I think Renfro will run? If I was a betting man right now, I would say that he would not. I do know that he's had a very difficult time reaching anyone. A lot of people would rather run independent, which I don't blame them. And that's going to force him to spend a lot of money. And it costs a lot of money to put a slate together, right? And so I would say probably not. My opinion is he's got his sight set on something else, and that may be where he lands. But I don't see it. I know that the establishment has turned their back on him because they tried him. They lied to us about him. That's Rolando and Lou and them. They lied to us about the state that he was in when he was elected. We had no idea that we were electing somebody that was having such issues. And so it's partly their fault. And so they're trying again with a new slate. And so I do know that that's happening actively. They're trying to do that, okay? And so you'll see that next year. Next year, 2026, is the year of the city letter carrier because this is the year that we finally have been waiting for, that we're going to take this union back from those that have failed us so long, okay? This last 3 years with Renfro has seemed like 30 fucking years. It seems like 30 fucking years we've been dealing with this fucking clown. So next year, 2026, is the year of the city letter carrier where we take this union back. And that's going to happen in a big way. It's going to happen in a big fucking way. And there's not shit that anybody can do about it. You can run 50 slates against us. Y'all are losing. You are losing. I'm telling you, you're losing. Had a a podcast, a young man that came out, and I don't know if he's running for a slate. Kind of sounds like he is. Table 2. And you'll hear a lot more about Table 2 next year. I know that there's a lot of things in the works about Table 2, things that are happening that I can't speak about, but good things. But an individual came out with a podcast, and it's dealing with that, right? Well, he's taken a shot at the CLC and me, and about Table 2. And of course, we're not in power. There's not shit we can do about Table 2 right now because I'm a city letter carrier right now. There's nothing we can do. But here's my issue, and this is the only time I will address this clown on this podcast, okay? And it's basically what I just said about the last 3 years, 2 years specifically, is that these last 2 years, to me, have been the worst 2 years for the city letter carriers probably since the 70s. And it's based off of the cowardice of my president and his inability to do anything correctly. When you look at him taking people's duties away, giving them to other people, and shit has just snowballed on his ass because he was not ready. He was not ready. Look at the backlog of grievances at the B and at arbitration. It's mind-boggling, those numbers, right? And it's all because of his incompetence. And we have been in the fucking fight for 2 fucking years, man. We have been on this motherfucker here, going at it with management, with the union. I mean fucking fighting for 2 years, almost 3. You know, the memos came out, put us square in their sights, man, and we have been fucking at it. Here comes this kid with this podcast, and he's trying to run down the CLC and me. And the problem that I have with this individual is he cannot run for a union position right now because he has put in for a 204B position within the last 2 years. And he's also was a scab. He got out of the union in the last 2 years, and I'm going to take it that that was when he was trying to get into management. Here's my issue. Here's my issue with that. That tells me, knowing you cannot put in for a union position because you put in for 204B within the last 2 years. That tells me that when shit was hitting the fucking fan, when we were in the fucking streets brawling, we were in the fucking arena, your ass ran to management. And you gonna come after us? Brother, we were in the fucking street getting it fucking on. And you were a fucking traitor. You ran to management. You got out of the union. And you're going to come at us? The CLC? The motherfuckers who've been in this fucking street? We've been in this battle, baby. We were in it. And where were you? You were running across the battlefield to the enemy. Coming after us? Look, you got this position. And here's me. Here's how I am. And some people may not like this shit, and they'll probably use it against me. I don't give a fuck. I love the city letter carrier. I love the city letter carrier with all my heart. I need my union, right? I need my union to be strong. I need my union. I love the city letter carrier. I need my union. You have those. They love the union, and they need the city letter carrier. There's a distinct difference. They love the union. You'll see these lifers coming out trying to run because they cannot do without the union position. It's not about their love for the city letter carrier. It's about keeping position with the union, right? It's about keeping position with the union. So I love the union and I need the city letter carrier. Me, I love the city letter carrier. I need my union. Okay? Now, I'm going to work for the union come next year. Why? Because I love the city letter carrier. And I need my union to be top notch. I don't give a fuck if you look like me, if you worship like me, if you vote like me, if you think like me. The only thing I care about is if you fight like me. Listen to me. I don't care if you look like me, if you worship like me, if you love like me. The only thing I care about is if you fight like me. That's it. We were standing in the fucking face of it for 2 fucking years. And I need to know that when we're standing in the fucking face of it, I can look to my right and left and you will be there with me. That's what I need. That's all I care about. When we're fighting, I need to know that if you're going to be with me, that I can look on either side and you will be there. Here's your problem, brother, that started your podcast. I looked on either side. Your ass was gone. You left. In the midst of it, you left us stranded. And now you want to run for a position? You want to run for a position at the highest level? You have shown who you are, your character, your qualities. When shit was hitting the fan, you bolted. You got out of the union and bragged about it. And you're going to come back and say, hey, CLC, they're not worthy. Baby, we've been in the fight. We've been in the arena. When I talk about man in the arena, those that are in the bleachers talking about the ones that are fighting, that's you. That's you. I need a motherfucker that when shit's hitting the fan, I can look there and know that you're going to be there. You're not it. I may have told this story before, but when I was at the jail, they called me one night. I was out on the floor in the control room sitting here banging on the glass with the phone. So I go in the control room and I said, hey, what's up? They said, hey, Corey, you got an inmate in B cell. They're not supposed to be there. They should have come in, went straight to max. I said, okay. Be very careful with this inmate. Very careful. He's a cop killer. And what happened was, I may have told this story long ago, I can't remember. What happened was, he had robbed somebody or shot somebody, and he was laying in the bed of this truck. It was like 1 a.m. He was laying in the bed of this truck, hiding from the cops. A cop looked over into the bed of the truck, and this guy shot him, killed him. And he was in B cell. Okay. Now the difference between B cell, I had A cell, B cell, C cell, and D cell. A, C, and D were all 2-man cells, 24 per side. That's 48 inmates. B cell had 8-man cells, 3 cells per side, still 48 inmates, but that's 8, 16, 24. Okay, on each side. They had 8-man cells. And so I had to go into B cell. There's 8-man cells, which elevated shit, right? If it's just 2, we could take one out, and then, you know, so shit went down and would just be on right there with just us and another inmate. You had to be cautious in B cell because inmates are going to stick together, right? So there was a guard with me. His name was Odom. I'm not going to say his first name, but it was Odom was his last name. And he had to go with me. 2 of my brutes were not on that night. And I wouldn't have thought anything about it. I told y'all about him before, Kalen Bird and Big P, Larry Pearson. If it was them, I wouldn't think anything about it. But this guard had not worked with me much, okay? Didn't know really who I was, what I was about. So I told him, I said, hey, man, we're going to have to go into B cell. It's the first cell on the left, okay? There's an inmate in there that's not supposed to be there. This will get tight. This will get hairy, okay? When I react, I need you to be with me, okay? Because when I get into this dude, I'm going to have you with me, okay? Because if shit goes south, it don't take a long time to go south. It goes south immediately. So when I get into this dude's chest, I need you to be with me. I got you. Okay, so we go in there. We walk in. He's the first bunk on the left against the wall. He's on the bottom bunk. Call his name out. Turn the light on. Call his name out. Call his name out. Yeah. I said, hey, man, I need you to get your stuff. We're going to move you. I'm not moving. I said, yeah, you're going to move. I said, we got to move you. He said, I'm not moving. He said, y'all going to take me to max. So I'm sure nobody told him. It just came up, but I'm sure that he knew when he came in that it was a mistake, him being there in general population. And so I said, hey, I don't know where you're going, man. I said, but you're not going to stay here. I said, you need to get up. And I said, you're either going to get up or I'm going to get you up. And he says, well, I guess you're going to have to get me up then. I said, that's fine. So he sits up on the bed, right, and puts his feet on the ground. And he's leaning over. And so I look over, and I'm going to tell Odom, hey, it's on. I'm looking over, got to get that sign. When he sits up, I look over. Odom is gone. He has left the building. He's nowhere to be found. I mean, he splits when that inmate sits up. And I hear an inmate behind me said, "That's not good." That's what I remember it to this. This is 30 years ago. 30 years ago. I remember it like it's yesterday. That's not good. And so I said, "No, that's even better." I said, because I don't need a witness to what's fixing to happen in here. And so I go to walk towards the guy. He stands up. This is the biggest motherfucker. He's probably 6'5", ugly as hell. It looked like a creature. This dude's head was huge and ugly, just misshapen. And stood up, he's much bigger than me, much taller than me. And so, of course, I'm thinking, God, this is going to end terribly for me. Because I have nobody else on the floor. We don't carry radios. We don't carry sticks. It's just my 2 fists and feet. And so he stands up, and I'm like, dear God, this is going to be a catastrophic failure. Hell, I just start walking towards him. I said, I told you it's going to be my way then, didn't I? So he, fuck it, bends down, gets his tub, pulls it out. Fuck it, man, fuck it. I said, that's all right. I said, you can keep fucking it, but I need you to get on out this room. I said, because they're trying to sleep. I said, they're here to get you. So he gets his shit, he leaves, gets in the Sallyport, and Don Black was my supervisor. He was a bad individual. He had 2 or 3 people with him. And they're sitting there in the Sallyport, and I take the guy in there. I said, here he is. And I said, who you have? He said, this person. I said, hang on just a second. I said, hey, Odom. Yeah, I said, come here. He comes in there. I said, hey, Don, take him with you. He said, do what? I said, take this cowardly motherfucker with you. Don't ever put him on my floor again. I said, you hear me? I said, this motherfucker's not welcome on my fucking floor ever again. I said, now get your cowardly ass off my floor. And so he stepped in the elevator, and Don sent somebody up there to help me feed chow. It was just 2 of us that night, which happened a lot. That's you, brother. That's you. You're the cowardly motherfucker. Now you're going to come out after us talking about all this bullshit the CLC ain't doing. We've been in the fucking fight, son. I've got 2 RAAs that just got canned because they're in the fucking fight. Lost their positions because they stood up and refused to live on their fucking knees. And lost their position. Your ass quit. You ran to management. Got out of the fucking union when we needed you most. And you gonna come at me, brother? You gonna come at the CLC? Are you crazy? Brother, we are in the arena. That's who we are. That's what the entire slate is about. We're in the fucking arena. When I say I need those motherfuckers that fight like me, you're not it. You're not it. You're not worthy to carry my fucking shield. To go get that motherfucker and bring it to me. You're a runner, a coward, a traitor. You ran across the battlefield trying to side with management when we're in it. Shit. Braveheart's my favorite movie. I talk about it all the time. I love Braveheart. Y'all remember when Mel Gibson came riding up and they were fixing to get in that real big battle, the one with all the horses? Had their faces painted, looked bad as fuck. Had all their faces painted, and they come riding up on those horses. Well, all the other, the army, whatever you call them, because they're just basically just peasants, that were rising up. They're leaving. They're leaving the battlefield. They're getting the fuck out of there. Why? Because the situation did not look too damn good. The situation was not too damn good. And so Mel Gibson rides up, William Wallace, and he's talking to him and says, hey, why do y'all flee? There's too many. There's too many. We're going to die. He says, you may die. And then he gives that story that made you want to run through the screen and go fight somebody. There's a lot of people that will show you who they are when shit hits the fan, when it looks like there's too many, when it looks like the odds are not really in our fucking favor. When you talk about a collective bargaining, when you talk about national arbitration, and they would rather live on their knees than fight, like your president. They will leave when shit's hitting the fan, when the city letter carrier is under attack. They will leave when it looks like, it's best to get on the other side. That's this cat with this podcast. Listen, City Letter Carrier, we will stay on the field and we will fight. That's exactly what we're going to fucking do. In 2026, we're taking back over this motherfucker from the cowardice that's plagued us for too fucking long. We're taking back over this motherfucker next year. It is finally fucking here, where we make our statement. We make our stand. That's what's going to happen. James Henry's going to win in 2026. This slate's going to come in and raise fucking hell on y'all's behalf. The City Letter Carrier is taken back over in 2026. It will be the year of the City Letter Carrier. I promise you that. We're going to keep doing our thing on From 8 Arbitration. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here every fucking week. Every fucking week we're going to be educating, right? We're going to be training. We're going to be talking about current topics. I'll have JB on again, y'all's favorite. So, we've been abandoned for too damn long. Abandoned for too damn long. You can put whatever in the fuck slate you want to come out against us. It doesn't matter. It's too fucking late. It's too fucking late. You can make a podcast coming after me. Been there, done that. It's happened. Don't give a fuck. Right? You can watch from afar or you can run to management. Don't give a shit. It's going to end up the same. All right? I love you, City Letter Carrier. I love you, Light Blue. We've done a lot of shit this last year. We've done a lot of good shit. We've went through a bunch of shit together, me and you. We've been through some shit, man. We've been in the fight. We've been on the field. Hold your fucking head up high, man. We have taken some fucking lumps, but, man, we are still marching forward, and that's what we're going to do. I saw... and I'll be done with this. I saw the other day, it was on social media, a thing about them raising our dues. And people were obviously upset at that, raising our dues. Our health benefits went up, and basically our raises aren't going to add up to anything. And, they're raising our dues. It's just like one thing after another, after another, after another has been hitting us. And people were upset about it. And so you had some people on there saying, well, heaven forbid they follow the Constitution. It's in the Constitution. If y'all want to change it, change the Constitution. Coming to the defense of that, and true, it's in the Constitution, about raising our union dues. But you'll always have these same come out in defense of the union. And that's fine. And talking about, heaven forbid they go by the Constitution. Heaven forbid indeed they go by the Constitution. I've always said there's a double standard between us and management. There's a double standard between us, right? We have a JCAM, Joint Contract Administration Manual. That means we jointly came into this agreement that we're going to talk about how this is going to be administered to both parties. Joint Contract Administration Manual. So we came into an agreement to this book here, how this is going to be administered between the parties. And only one has to go by it. Only one. The City Letter Carrier. If we don't go by it, we get disciplined and removed. Been doing a lot of discipline this week. Management doesn't. They don't go by it. We're begging and pleading to get any kind of enforcement. Any at all. Management's now saying what? We don't even want recognition that we violated anything. How appropriate. What a great position that is to be in if you're management. Hey, on this settlement, we'll just pay it. I'm not going to say that I violated anything. Man, that's a good position to be in. It's the double standard of it. Do you know what else is a double standard? The Constitution. Because I remember when charges were filed and half the executive council, or more than half, voted not to even go by the Constitution to accept or to implement an investigator. Do y'all remember that? The Constitution says what? These things will happen. If a charge is filed, this will happen. It will be given an investigator. I remember the executive council got together and a majority voted against following the Constitution. Do you know who must follow the Constitution? The city letter carrier. The city letter carrier. We've got to follow the Constitution. I'm sick and tired of being on our fucking knees. I told y'all a long time ago we've stood the fuck up, and that's what I'm talking about. We have said we will no longer be on our knees. We will die on our fucking feet. The double standard of everything, and I keep talking about we've been abandoned by both sides. Do you see what I'm talking about? We have been abandoned by both sides. Do you see now what I'm talking about? The double standard of management. They don't give a fuck about the JCAM, but they will fire us if we don't abide by it. The union, they don't give a fuck about the Constitution, but we're going to take your fucking dues because it's in the Constitution. We're going to raise those because it's in the Constitution. But if it's something in the Constitution that doesn't come into our benefit, we will vote against it. That's the life of the city letter carrier. That is our life. And there's no place I'd rather be than with Light Blue. When all this shit comes to fruition, there's no place I'd rather be than in the midst of it with my brothers and sisters in Light Blue. And that's exactly what's fixing to happen next year. They will come. They will come after CLC. They will come after me. Come the fuck on. Come the fuck on, brother. Whoever in the fuck it is, come on. I've got a trick for that ass. I'm telling you. We'll break the Weir Report back out and talk about it, okay? Hey, 2025. Little recap. Talked a little bit about the podcast. Some good numbers there, and I cannot thank y'all enough for listening, truly. Just as some dude ramble. just rambling on. But we're growing. We're growing, and that's because of you, okay? The CLC is going to win next year. There's no doubt. Because the city letter carrier has determined through all of it that we would rather die on our feet, right, than live on our knees and be subservient anymore. The time to take this motherfucker back over is here. And that's what 2026 will bring, right? More educating. We're going to do more salted peanuts. But so there you go. Kind of a year-end review. Touch on a little bit what's going to happen next year. And people that are coming after us. Come on. I love you, Light Blue. I'll be back next Sunday. I do have some discipline we're going to go over for some people. And we're going to keep into some hot topics, okay? All right? I love you very much. Very much. And I'm still sleepy. I think it's just that crash, you know? At the end of it all, you've been working your ass off from morning to night, doing whatever you can at night. Had the party last night with my kids and woke up about 4 and still sleepy. You can probably hear it in my voice. I'm tired, man. But yeah, I wanted to do this year in review for you, okay? So I love you, and I will talk to y'all next Sunday, all right?